Hi guys, my name is Roberta Byers and I teach and coach and do student council at St. Clair High School. I've been doing it for about 20 years. I've been doing it at St. Clair for 15 years with my co-sponsor, co-advisor, Sarah Durker. 15 years. Welcome to MASC Advisor Conference 2020. Sure wish that we could all be together, but we can't. So I'm going to wing it, sort of. I have a little bit of a script. And I'm going to talk about an event that we do every year. We have homecoming, which is our biggest week of the year by far in the fall. And we've always had a PowderPuff football game for the girls. I mean, that's our tradition. But it's evolved over the years. And, you know, I can't remember how many years ago, but Sarah and I decided we just need to, everything we do needs to be for a purpose. I know you guys remember this, but it was like the big thing of either state or our advisor conference or something. So our PowderPuff has now become a charity event, and we collect money and canned goods, and we try to fill our local pantries at churches and the Agape House and things like that with the canned foods we get from that night, from that event. But last year we raised more money than we ever had before, and so it was about $700. We also always donate money to the Kiwanis Club in town, and they make turkey baskets around Thanksgiving for local families in need. So we use some of the money for that, and then also we later, if we think the pantries need to be filled, we use money and we go buy canned goods and we fill them again around November, December-ish, because we have a canned food drive. So really, that's the purpose behind it, and also, of course, to have a lot of fun and get as many people involved as we can. So I'm just going to kind of explain it a little bit, and I'll share kind of my notes a little bit with you as well. And in a folder, we're going to both share some things with you. And, you know, if you ever have any questions, you can call us or email us at the school, and we can share that information with you as well. But we do this in the fall, and then in the spring, we also do something similar called the PowderPuff volleyball tournament, and the boys play and the girls coach them. And we usually, that money, we take donations at the gates as well, and we use that money to help out our local Special Olympic athletes. And usually that's good timing because they're getting ready to go to the track meet and everything like that. And I don't know. Oh. All right, so let's see. I talked about it being a traditional event, but we've changed it. Everything we do every year, just for the record, we try to improve it in some way, shape, or form. And really, sometimes it's overwhelming because, I mean, I hate to brag on us, but we're pretty darn good. So I'm bragging. We started having the class sponsors be the coaches because it is kind of during homecoming week, and it is a class competition item to a certain extent. Not the actual game itself, but we make the gate and the canned good donations part of our class competition for the week of homecoming, so that kind of gives a little more incentive. And I mean, even the parents get involved. Like, we have parents handing us 20s, 220s, you know, at the gate just to make donations for their class, for their daughter's class or their son's class. So it's kind of like really neat. I think we've really gotten the community really involved more in our activities. And this one, I mean, we have a lot of parents come to this. So we accept donations. We don't require them. And last year, both sides of our stands were pretty full. We always have to remind our administrators we really need someone there because it gets pretty big. Let's see. What's my next bullet? Oh, the coaching, just for liability purposes. I don't know if we shared it, but I'll make sure we do. We have a waiver that they do now instead of getting a physical to play. They have to have all the paperwork. We give them rosters. The class sponsor and coach is responsible for getting their donations as well. And filling out that paperwork, and our the person in charge in our office is our secretary, Becky, who helps us a lot with everything. And she makes sure that they all have filled out the drug consent forms, just like the athletes and the band kids and whoever is involved in a mission activity do. And we cover ourselves liability wise. We used to have to get physicals, but now we can just do a waiver, and so we've gone to that. And the parents have to sign it, unless they're 18. Let's see, what else? It gets really cool because the teams order shirts from local t-shirt shops, so they're giving them some business as well. And I mean, it's like a big deal. They want to top the other person's shirt, and they get numbers on the back. And, kids always like a good t-shirt, and they pay for those on their own. We don't charge any entry fee or anything like that. Our football coaches have jumped in. Now they are the actual officials of the game. That's been going on for, I'd say, 5 to 10 years now. And it's really neat. They enjoy it too. And I always give them rules. There's a set of rules. But, Coach Rob's our head coach, and he pretty much tells his boys, this is what we're doing. If he changes it, no big deal. But it's flag football rules. You can find them anywhere. But I'll share what we do. We've changed the time limits of the games, 2 or 3 times. Sometimes it was too long. Sometimes it was too short. So now we just do 2 halves. It's all in there. You can look at the paperwork. But, last year, they did it totally different, and they just decided on their own, and we went with it because, look, they're volunteers, and that's what I always tell the team captains at the meeting. Whatever they say goes. They're volunteers, and they know what they're doing, so we're good with that. We have a chain gang. I mean, it's pretty cool. The teachers sign up to do different duties for student council, so that the teachers sign up, for the chain gang. So we have 3 people down there doing the chain gang as well. Usually Miss Durker stays on the football field, and I'm usually monitoring where they're walking in and the concession stand once the game has started. Before the game, we're both kind of at the gate a little bit. I mean, there's always last-minute details. Maybe we forgot the flags or whatever. There's always something that we, have to make sure that we have or that we're there for. So we always usually get a good football from the football coaches. They usually like to bring their own, but we had to make homemade penalty flags. We used pennies or whatever, but you can order them. They're not that expensive. But, you can use a T-shirt, for goodness sakes. Put a little bean bag out there or something like that. It doesn't matter. But we usually have at least 3 officials. We have an announcer. Usually we have 2 teachers and coaches that like to get up in the press box and actually announce the game. And I think last year was the first time we had somebody different do it, but the kids love that too. They really get into it, and it is important who wins. I mean, I know it gets kind of ugly sometimes, but knock on wood, we've only had a few people get injured because the coaches do a good job of officiating and making sure that we're not getting too rough, because it is not tackle, it is flag, which this year, unfortunately, we might not get to have it. I know we don't during at least the homecoming week, so we might have to postpone it. We usually have 4 tables at the gate, 1 for each class. Underneath those tables, we put boxes so that when people come in, they can either put their cans in the box, or we have like a money jar on top of the table where, and then we have 1 or 2. Sometimes there's more than that, like all the class officers, if they're not involved in it, and the freshmen and sophomores especially, because they're not actually playing in the game, they, they're all trying to tell the parents, hey, come on, how about some money for the freshmen? And so we don't let them badger them, but they do, try to talk it up, I guess you could say. At the end of the night, each class kind of helps tear down their stuff. We usually have a bonfire afterwards, so usually myself and another teacher or Miss Durker come in here and we count the money right away so we know, so we can announce it at the bonfire. And then we put it in the announcements the next day, because it is also on a Wednesday night and homecoming's on Friday. The kids make a program, and just like you get when you go to a varsity football game, and it has both teams listed, and sometimes the seniors keep those for their memory books, or a parent just wants one to know who's playing, and so that's kind of nice. It's just an extra thing that we added. The committee itself, if they're not playing, obviously some of them play. Clean up at the end, you have to make sure you get the flags back, get the football. The field kind of gets picked up a little bit. All the tables get put away. Everything, the cans get brought back up to Miss Durker's room. I mean, we just don't, while everybody else is out getting the bonfire going, we usually all have to finish that up, make sure we turn tables to the correct classrooms and things like that. It really is a fun event. All I can tell you is the kids get really pumped up about it. Most importantly, it's fun and it's part of that big week, but it also does some good for our community. And so, we have a good time doing it. If you have any questions ever, I'd be more than happy to help you, but that's just one thing we do. The volleyball in the spring, we try to do that between weeks, like sport weeks if possible. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but either way, the boys play, and it's, we let all levels play, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and then usually there's a couple volleyball players from each grade level that help coach along with an adult, obviously. And sometimes they practice during advisory for these events. Sometimes they practice on their own. Sometimes the football people go down to Orchard Park and practice, not even just here. But during advisory, sometimes they have to split the field to practice, or one of them is up at the practice football field. One of them is down at the turf practicing. But the main thing is that we understand that the parents are the adults are kind of organizing it. Anyway, I'm sorry I haven't had on today, but I had a 6 a.m. practice, and we're professional development today, so we're cheating and using a little of this time. You guys know how it is. These next 2 weeks are our busiest weeks. Next week's homecoming week, by the way, and I've only got to be in Sarah's room 2 times this year because we are socially distancing. I hope you guys are all having a great year, and I sure am going to miss seeing you guys, but maybe in March. Love y'all. Have a great year. Hey guys, it's me again. I just want to say one more thing. I added a little thing. After each event we do, we kind of come back and say, hey, here's some things we need to do, or maybe change for next year, things like that. So I added a little thing in the file. You'll find it in there. But I just wanted to say, this year we were going to ask the junior ROTC to perform color guard and either the band and or choir to do the national anthem as well. We're just trying to make it bigger and better every year. And we were excited to do that, but unfortunately, not this year. But hey, it's a great idea. Can I get a woo?